Hey guys, Scott here again with you. Today what I'm going to be doing is kind of an abbreviated what is style. The what is style is going to be a blonde ale. So what is a blonde ale, which is also sometimes called a golden ale. The beer dissection that we're going to do is from Southern Tier, 8 days a week. Okay, beer which came from a compilation pack. I've done a few reviews on them already. Roughly 15 beers. I believe there were 5 styles, 3 cans of each, and this is their blonde ale. So I'll get to this in a minute. But blonde ale, golden ale. So what is blonde ale? And as I said, it's also called golden ale. The one you may be the most familiar with, at least in the United States, or I should say, at least in the Northeast, you'll see a lot from Kona Brewing Company. They have Big Wave Golden Ale. It's pretty, spot on. Actually, I think it's part of the BJCP, the Brewing Judge Certification Program, is a classic example. So golden ale is going to be kind of a pale straw to gold color, hence the term golden ale or blonde ale. It's going to be pretty balanced. The hop flavored aroma is going to be pretty subdued. The bitterness is going to be kind of low to moderate. The hops are going to kind of have a fruity, floral type of effect to it, but it's not going to be anywhere near the intensity of a IPA or double IPA or anything like that. The beer itself is actually going to be a little bit more favored towards the malt. There's going to be some sweetness to the malt, maybe a light toast, white bread, wheat bread type of malt profile. So it should be not like a lip puckering type of beer like some of your IPAs will be with a high IBU unit. The style's usually 15 to 28 IBUs, which is International Bitterness Units. We've talked about that on a lot of my videos. Remember, just for comparison purposes, a German Pilsner is about 22 to 40. So you can see this could be on the low end of bitterness. I'm not going to get into the actual IBU unit versus just perceived bitterness, but this beer should have more of like a sweetness to it, showcasing the malt a little bit more. There'll be enough hops for balance, but like I said, it's going to be kind of a fruity, floral type of hop character that you'll get in that beer. To style, it's usually about 4.8 to 5.5 ABV percentage, if I remember correctly. The one we have today to do the beer dissection is about 4.8 and 15 IBUs while I'm thinking about it. The blonde ale, golden ale, as I've been discussing, should have a little bit more malt and hop character than, say, your American lager, your cream ale, beers like that. But again, it should not have that same powerful hop aroma and flavor as you get with some of your classic IPAs. If you're familiar with a German Kolsch, which again is another straw blonde kind of beer that again is not really heavy-handed either with the hops or the malt, this style, again, blonde ale, golden ale, is very similar to that. So again, it's going to be more malt, forward, sweetness from the malt, straw color, gold color, of course, hence one of the terms being called a golden ale or a blonde ale. Very similar to an American wheat beer, except it's not using wheat. This beer can also it is an ale, so it is top fermenting. It's usually brewed at a lot higher temperature, but they sometimes will use lager yeast for this style. Okay, so again, what I have for us today, like I said, is Southern Tier, 8 days a week, is their version of the blonde ale. As I mentioned, it's 4.8% alcohol, and this has a best by date of, it's a little bit muddled here at the bottom, but if it's like the other ones, 4/25/23 best by date. So we're starting to approach it here. I'm filming this at the beginning of February in 23. So the malt sweetness may typically, while I'm thinking about it, give you a kind of, like I said, that white bread, wheat bread, a little bit of a honey character to it. However, if this beer, like many pale beers, are being oxidized or older, you can get that malt shift with that what they call 2,3-pentadione, which is kind of gives you that honey caramel type of character. But again, this can kind of give you a toasty, light caramel normally for the style, but not really heavy. It shouldn't be. Okay, so like I'm gonna do with many of my beers, I got my if you watch more than one or two of my videos, I kind of like to, this is one of my go-to glasses. I call it a modified Spigloo. I don't think that's the technical term for it, but it kind of looks like it, but something that's gonna always accentuate and showcase the beers, what we're always looking for. All right, so Southern Tier, 8 days a week. As I said, I probably have it pop over my shoulder. It's part of this compilation pack, had a double IPA, a couple of hazies. This is the only one I think that's not an IPA. But so far, the reviews on my personal review on that package of beers is pretty complimentary. So if you're interested in it or you see it in your store, take a look at some of the other videos. Okay, so let's pop this thing open. Okay. And yeah, as I'm pouring, I'll show you in a minute, you definitely have that gold straw color to it. We're getting a nice white pronounced head here. So again, I don't need to probably repeat why I pour these things aggressively these days, but kind of nice white sustained head. You got that typical kind of light gold straw color, which is true to style. When I say style, remember the Brewing Judge Certification Program style. So let's take a sniff of the aroma. Yeah, so definitely slightly fruity, floral, exactly as I explained in the lead up to the beer dissection here. But you get that, again, that white bread, slightly sweet, honey kind of smell. Again, not real strong for oxidation, but, very pleasant, welcoming type of aroma to the malt. I believe they're probably using either 2-row or a Pilsner malt for this. They're very nice. Again, I haven't had this one before. I've had the Kona Big Wave, but it has a very similar aroma to that. So if you like that, and I like the Kona Big Wave Golden Ale because it's a very easy drinking. It has a lot more malt and hop profile than your typical American lager or Mexican lager, things like that, but still very welcoming type of beer. All right, guys, so now that this settled down, let me just show you to you one more time. Okay, you can almost see me through the picture. All right, so let's cheers. Yeah. Definitely I almost immediately get that sweetness to the malt, Pilsner malt, kind of like almost like a Munich Helles would be, German style Munich Helles, which showcases the Pilsner malt. This showcases whether they're using 2-row or the Pilsner malt. So you definitely get that sweetness, little fruitiness, but not fruity as in you're getting blasted with the hops that, kind of like those New World hops that give you mango and pineapple. Not like that. But floral, kind of light to medium bodied, medium carbonation. There's this nice, again, when I say creaminess, I don't want to give you the impression that it's like, Irish stout creaminess. But just enough to kind of give you a little bit more oomph to the hop flavor aroma and malt, besides being something like an American, like light lager. You do definitely get that fruitiness from the malt as well as the hops. No astringency, which I would hope I wouldn't be getting anywhere with something like this, because you want this to be more welcoming. Like I said, medium carbonation, medium body at the very most. No alcoholic warmth. Bitterness is low, which you expected. I think this one's 15 IBUs. So you definitely want this for style. You want this low. So you want, with a blonde ale, American blonde ale, or golden ale, like I said, you want the malt to be, you want the pendulum to swing a little more towards the malt flavors, the sweetness, floral, fruity. versus your typical IPA. So if you're looking for an IPA style beer, this is not it. Does not have the bitterness, does not have the the hop flavor and aroma that's like just blasts you. It's just a lot more balanced than that type of beer, but very welcoming. And I particularly like this one. Overall, I've been very happy with the Southern Tier beers. Had them for a while until I started doing these videos. And this one, I don't pick up any type of off flavor as far as oxidation, even though maybe slightly older than I would like for this type of style. It's that subtle, sweet, honey kind of malt. But again, not honey as in it was oxidized with the 2,3-pentadiene, which is the biochemical, organic chemical, whatever that gives you that off flavor. And even for the few minutes I've been sitting here talking, we're even holding on to a little bit of the, we're getting some lattice pattern here. So very nice beer. Again, guys, this is the beer, the What Is style, which was kind of an abbreviated short version. There's not a lot of history with this. Is what is a golden ale or blonde ale, sometimes called golden ale, similar to your Kona Big Wave golden ale that you see in the stores. Very easy drinking. Remember I told you, sweet malt, fruity, floral, not going to blow you away like an IPA. And then the beer Dissection is 8 days a week. Blonde ale from Southern Tier Brewing Company in Lakewood, New York, just southwest of Buffalo, in the Southern Tier section of New York, if you're not familiar. And this was 4.8% alcohol. So again, guys, I would recommend this. I would give this is like a crushable beer, quaffable, crushable. You could drink this in volume if you really were sitting back. Pairing, this is great with everything probably. Just thirst quenching, barbecue, chicken, wings. We're right around the Super Bowl as I'm filming this. I don't know if they serve these in 12 packs or 6 packs, but I would definitely welcome this as like an everyday type of beer. And that's probably why they got the names 8 days a week, because it's a very welcoming beer and probably a nice introduction into craft beer if you're not too familiar with it. So again, grade-wise, general beer, I give it a good solid B, which doesn't sound great, but, it is just a run-of-the-mill, golden ale. Maybe a B plus for this style, and but maybe just kind of average B, which is still pretty good. All right, guys, a little bit on the blonde golden ale as well as Southern Tier's 8 days a week. Until next time, talk to you soon.